Ever wonder how a coach goes from kicking a freezer in frustration to leading a team to victory on the world stage? Today, it's all about Sebastián Beccacece.
Hey everyone, I'm Leah, feeling super curious today about our topic.
And I'm Garrett, ready to dig into this fascinating story. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
All right, here's where we begin. Sebastián Beccacece, the Argentine football manager known for his passionate approach and those high-energy sidelines, plus big successes working alongside Jorge Sampaoli. I once tried coaching a kids' soccer team, and let me tell you, it's harder than it looks. Keeping 10 8-year-olds focused is like herding friendly cats. It makes me appreciate Beccacece starting in youth coaching at places like Newell's Old Boys, where teaching basics and patience are everything. Seeing how those early teaching muscles transition to the big leagues, that's so wild.
Let's dive right in. Sebastián Beccacece is an Argentine professional football manager. Think of him as a detail-obsessed strategist who lives every second on the touchline. He was born in Rosario, Argentina, a city that breathes football. Early on, he played as a right back for local amateur clubs, Laval and Juan III, but realized he wouldn't make the top tier, so he pivoted to coaching. That pivot is huge. It set him on the path to specialize in training, analysis, and player development.
Rosario matters here. It's home to strong youth pathways and historic clubs, and that environment shaped him. He started coaching at Newell's Old Boys, which is famous for its academy, working first with kids as young as 4 to 12. Then at Club Renato Cesarini, another development-focused academy in Argentina, he managed the 1989 and 1990 age groups. That's where he sharpened evaluation and progression planning, basically how to guide teens into pros step by step.
And when we say assistant coach later on, quick definition, that's the person who supports the head coach with tactics, training, and match prep. Beccacece made that role an art form early. He met Jorge Sampaoli in 2002, and they hit it off around a shared love for high pressing, which is a style where your team tries to win the ball back quickly up the field. That partnership becomes a central thread in his story.
So, setting the table for competitions we'll mention, Copa Libertadores is South America's top club tournament, kind of like the UEFA Champions League in Europe. Copa Sudamericana is like the Europa League, and Copa America is the main South American national team tournament. I'm saying that out loud, so when we get to the trophies, it all lands cleanly.
Okay, so here's where we start. Their collaboration. That initial meeting in 2002 in Rosario kicked off a partnership built around a hyper-energetic attacking style, with Beccacece becoming the right-hand guy who drilled details day to day.
Together, they worked across South America from Sport Boys in Peru, which is a Peruvian club based in Callao, to Coronel Bolognesi in Tacna, then Sporting Cristal in Lima, and O'Higgins in Rancagua, Chile. That journey built their shared playbook and their trust under pressure.
They also went to Emelec in Ecuador, a big club in Guayaquil, fine-tuning training methods and opponent analysis. Each stop added layers, different leagues, stadiums, even altitude preparations in Ecuador. All of that fed into the identity they'd stamp on teams later.
Then came Universidad de Chile, a major club in Santiago, in 2011. With Sampaoli as head coach and Beccacece as assistant, they won the 2011 Apertura, 2011 Clausura, and the 2011 Copa Sudamericana. That's a domestic double plus continental glory in 1 year. It's a benchmark run.
They kept it rolling with the 2012 Apertura too. The team's style, relentless pressing, quick transitions, became a reference point across the region. Beccacece's reputation for detail and training design really took off during that period.
In 2013, the ANFP, which is Chile's professional football association, hired Sampaoli and staff to lead the national team. Different rhythm than club football, because international coaches get less time with players. But they qualified Chile for the 2014 World Cup, showing that same aggressive identity.
Their partnership was pivotal, leading to Chile's first Copa America victory in 2015. That's history. Chile had never won it before. The staff's preparation and intensity hit a perfect peak.
It shows how teamwork and a shared vision can create historic wins. Sometimes the magic is in how the head coach and assistant divide the load. Big picture leadership on one side, day-to-day detail on the other.
Next up, Beccacese's move to Universidad de Chile as head coach in early 2016. Big leap. Taking over a giant where he'd previously thrived as an assistant brought pressure from day one.
He started with a bang, an 8-1 win over O'Higgins in late January. That's a statement scoreline. But very quickly, reality bit. The team was eliminated early in the Copa Libertadores by River Plate of Uruguay, and domestic form turned streaky.
That run was a roller coaster, right? You get big wins like a 4-1 at Cobresal, then drop points, then scrutiny spikes again. It tested his resilience and adaptability in a very public arena.
Especially with incidents like the infamous freezer kick against Universidad Católica in August. A penalty goes against his team, and in the heat of the moment, he kicks a freezer near the bench. It became a kind of shorthand for his fiery sideline persona.
Why do moments like that stick so hard?
Because it's visual, it's emotional, and it sums up how tense things were. Fans see the passion, but it also invites debate about composure. It's a snapshot of pressure meeting personality.
In September 2016, he left by mutual agreement. After that, he recalibrated back in Argentina with Defensa y Justicia that November, a club where his developmental approach fit like a glove.
And the payoff came quickly in 2017. Defensa, a modest club from Florencio Varela, entered their first-ever continental competition, the Copa Sudamericana, and eliminated São Paulo at the Morumbi in Brazil. That's a giant upset, the kind of result that stamps a coach as a planner and motivator.
Then, mid-2017, he accepted a return to international coaching as Sampaoli's assistant for Argentina. He left Defensa on a win over Chapecoense in late June, joined up for the World Cup push, and Argentina squeezed qualification on the final day in October.
After the 2018 World Cup exit, he left the Argentina setup in early July and the very next day went back to Defensa as head coach again. That trust both ways is telling. It's like, here's a place where his methods have room to breathe.
Then, his return to Defensa y Justicia became something special. In 2018-2019, they finished runners-up in Argentina's top flight and qualified for the Copa Libertadores for the first time. That's overachievement par excellence. He was maximizing collective performance and player development on a tight budget.
He built cohesive teams from modest resources. That speaks to structure and teaching. Players knew their roles and the system amplified them rather than waiting on one superstar to rescue games.
From there, he took the Independiente job in mid-2019, a club with huge expectations. It was a short, challenging spell, and by late October, he left by mutual agreement. Different club dynamics can make installation of a complex game model tricky.
He then joined Racing Club in December 2019. In 2020, they were fourth in the league before the season was abandoned due to COVID, and they reached the Copa Libertadores quarterfinals, losing to Boca Juniors. That's a solid continental run. Then in December, he resigned. It's one of those exits where the work looks sturdy, even if the cycle ends early.
February 2021, back to Defensa for a third spell, and this time, silverware, the 2021 Recopa Sudamericana. Quick explainer, that's a showdown between the winners of the Libertadores and the Sudamericana. Lifting it is a big regional statement, especially for a club of Defensa's size.
He resigned in September 2022, later crossing the Atlantic to Elche in Spain's La Liga in March 2023. Elche had a turbulent season with multiple managers and were relegated, but he stayed to try a rebuild in the second division, then left in May 2024 when the playoff push fell short. That European chapter widened his playbook under tough conditions.
And finally, the Ecuador national team in August 2024. At the 2026 World Cup, his Ecuador beat Germany 2-1 in the group stage, qualified as one of the best third-place teams, then lost 2-0 to hosts Mexico in the round of 32. He stepped down in July 2026. That arc shows he can prep a team for a marquee upset on the biggest stage.
There's a personal layer, too. He's been married to Patricia Persson for over 20 years, with 2 daughters, Agustina and Victoria. He has a twin brother, Anibal, who played for Central Cordoba in Rosario. That family anchor shows up in how he talks about riding out the highs and lows. Speaking of crossroads, one controversial topic is whether Beccacece was invited by Marcelo Bielsa to join the Chile national team staff in 2010. Bielsa, for context, is an Argentine coaching legend known for intense pressing and meticulous tactics. Reports say Beccacece declined to stay with Sampaoli, but it's not definitively confirmed.
I think the story, confirmed or not, reflects his loyalty to Sampaoli. Staying on that path brought him titles at Universidad de Chile, a historic Copa America with Chile, and more top-level experience. Sometimes doubling down on a strong partnership beats chasing a shiny new door.
True, but joining Bielsa could have offered different experiences. Bielsa's tree branches into Europe and long developments at clubs like Athletic Bilbao or Leeds. Even as an assistant, Beccacece might have picked up new wrinkles, like different ways to manage build-up play or off-ball rotations. That could have shifted his later head coach voice.
But sometimes sticking with what you know pays off. If Sampaoli is the macro vision guy and Beccacece the training ground maestro, that complementary split maximized both. Chile's 2015 title is proof of concept, and at club level with Universidad de Chile, the silverware stack speaks volumes.
I see your point. Still, I think taking a new path can enrich your lens even if you later return to your comfort zone. New locker rooms, different player profiles, and another mentor's feedback. Those things sometimes unlock a better version of the same philosophy.
Fair. In any case, the Bielsa invitation remains reported rather than rock solid. The fact that we're debating it shows how pivotal those crossroads can look in hindsight.
Wouldn't it be great if there was a film about his journey? The early youth coaching, the insane 2011 trophy run with Universidad de Chile, the freezer kick going viral as the low point, then the Recopa win and the World Cup upset over Germany. It's got rise, fall, rise energy all over it.
What if Beccacece had accepted Bielsa's offer in 2010?
Maybe he would have absorbed Bielsa's club-building habits more directly and taken that to different clubs. He could have become the go-to fixer for teams wanting to overhaul their identity, then turn that into a longer European chapter with a club suited to a project timeline.
Or he might have settled as a top assistant in Europe, learning the day-to-day of Big Five leagues under Bielsa's strict methods. That could mean deeper tactical catalogs, like pressing triggers linked to specific passing lanes, and an even sharper eye for academy integration in those systems.
Why does that path feel so different from what happened?
Because staying with Sampaoli routed him through immediate success and national team peaks. That's fast burn experience at the top. The Bielsa path might have been slower burn club projects, more incremental growth, maybe fewer trophies early, but more control over long-term identity.
It's fascinating how one decision can tilt everything, yet his real timeline still gave him that Ecuador moment in 2026, upsetting Germany. Different routes, but the through line is clear. He's a coach who can install a plan, teach it, and make underdogs believe.
Stay curious, folks.
And keep exploring. Thanks for tuning in to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.